And good afternoon if you're tuning in from around the world. Viewers around the world tune in every day to LALATE Live, and I appreciate all our international viewers and domestic viewers tuning in to now the 24-hour news network of LALATE. This is Mornings LALATE. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and we're being simulcast on Instagram this morning on a day in which no one thought we would be where we are today. If you did not see all the breaking news reports on this channel last night and overnight and on early mornings LA, then let me get you up to date with this quick update. The quick update is no deal. There's no deal in your second stimulus check and second stimulus package after a bill approved over the weekend by Congress landed in the White House, and then silence abounded across the White House. We didn't know what was going on, and as I started to report, the president had not signed it, but had indicated that he was going to sign it to broadcast news. Viewers were sort of shocked. Wait a second, I thought he signed it. No, he had not yet signed it. And late yesterday, the president made a tape recording in the White House for broadcast, for Twitter, that aired during prime time in a clear message of time schedule to put it at prime time, to release it at a moment hours after Joe Biden had talked about third stimulus, which is a new hit show on this channel, third stimulus check and third stimulus package, every day on afternoons LA. About 2 hours after Joe Biden talked about third stimulus, President Donald Trump came out swinging and talked about the stimulus package that had arrived in his desk. To recap terminology, because it could be a lot of stuff for a lot of people to digest at a certain time. The bill that we're focusing on now, that the president had issues with last night, is called second stimulus check and second stimulus package. The provisions that are coming in January, like SSI, $2,400, multiple stimulus checks, hazard pay, FPUC retro at $600 a week, all those big and bold and beautiful things. EIDL grant, the remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grant. That's third stimulus check and third stimulus package, an expression which I coined on this channel only. And it refers to Biden stimulus happening in mid-January. Then you have state stimulus. That's the state stimulus that's available for you to get this minute, this day, yesterday, the week before. I've been detailing for 2 weeks. That includes nonprofit stimulus. That's for rent, utilities, food, and gifts. So you have 3 types of stimulus instruments. So I want to separate them all clearly. Third stimulus, Biden stimulus, state stimulus available from your state and nonprofits, and second stimulus and second stimulus package. That is what the president's dealing with. The news last night was that the president made a tape recording. The news this morning is that there's a series of reports that claim that the president was urged not to make the tape recording, that there was infighting at the White House. We've heard about this infighting at the White House for upwards of 2 weeks, whether it's a partisan report or a nonpartisan report. The reports claim that the president has been urged not to do things, then does things, doesn't want to do things, does do things. The reports are consistent with the other reports earlier this week that said the president had said, after he heard about the $600 stimulus check, that he was irate and that was going to denounce it and say, I want $2,000, and that he was urged to talk it down, to not bring it up. I did not cover that story, although I did cover that the president had talked about $2,000 earlier this week. That story was covered elsewhere. Ultimately, the president didn't say anything, but the new reports today say that before the taped recording that appeared on Twitter last night that imploded everything, the president was urged by certain lead staff members at the White House not to take the position, not to make the recording, and that ultimately he defaulted against that advice and went and did it. Where are we this morning? Are you getting a stimulus check? Is there a bill? Is there a vote? Is the government shut down? What does this mean about your government checks? What's going to happen over the next few days? Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Are they going to work? Are they leaving? A lot of major questions, and I hope to answer them starting right now. The first thing is there is no bill. Last night, a series of representatives said, hey, we're going to make the amendment and get it done, and they had it done within 10 seconds. It only takes a second to take a piece of paper and change a line on a page that says $600 to $1,200. Excuse me, $600 to $2,000. It only takes 10 seconds to do that. You know that. I know that. They did it in 10 seconds. I understand that. Very simple. Then Nancy Pelosi, who's head of the House of Representatives, said we're going to call for a vote and we will pass $2,000 immediately, unanimously, and send it to the Senate. That's good. That's no surprise. That can be done. That can be done this morning. It can be done in 15 minutes this morning. The big problem is the Senate. The big problem is the Senate. And so far, Mitch has been relatively silent. The naysayers, which include Ron Johnson and other people in the Senate who don't want to give you even $600, they don't want to give you one penny, have been silent. So the big concern is, what would the Senate do? There are other things that one has to talk about. The other things that you have to talk about is that Nancy Pelosi said, I made the amendment as the president so indicated to make it to $2,000, but there's a problem with that. What's the problem? Big problem. The problem is that the president talked about three things he wanted to be amended, not just one thing. One thing was the $600 check to $2,000. The second thing was removing that behemoth, that billions of dollars for foreign governments, Kenya, Cambodia, Nicaragua, to remove that foreign aid out of the bill. She has not done that. Nancy Pelosi has not done that. I'll make that clear again. There was a series of representatives in the House last night that were tweeting images, and certainly you were sending me them. I was seeing them, and it was very simple. And the images that were being sent was, hi, I amended the bill to make it to $2,000. Okay, how about the amendment to take out the $8 billion approximately to foreign governments? They weren't doing that. In fact, every single person that talked about it wasn't doing it. AOC wasn't doing it. Chuck Schumer wasn't doing it. Nancy Pelosi wasn't doing it. The other representative of the House wasn't doing it. So all these people were clearly not doing what the president said. He wanted three amendments. He wanted this international money taken out. He wanted the check amount increased, and he wanted the Kennedy Center refabrication or painting the building or whatever it is taken out. They weren't doing everything that he's asked for. So Nancy Pelosi wants to call a vote on an amendment that does not track what the president asked for, that does not follow what the president asked for. Okay, you can go do it. It's going to pass. But the president's going to say, wait a second, I asked for three things. You did one thing. What are you doing with me, Nancy? You did one thing when I asked for three things. And so that will be problematic. Then when it lands in the Senate, what is the Senate going to do? It's important to understand that when we're talking about bills and we're talking about passage of bicameral, bipartisan bills, it requires both parties to write the bill. It requires both parties to write the bill. What we have been watching over 2 weeks is two parties in two parts of Congress, the Senate and the House, writing the bill together. Last night, Nancy Pelosi talked about writing the bill by herself. AOC started talking about writing the bill by themselves. Chuck Schumer writing the amendment by themselves. Again, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. So what is Nancy Pelosi doing? You can perceive it as a setup to cause the downfall of Mitch McConnell. You can perceive it as a political ploy. And I reported that last night, that Nancy Pelosi may be setting up a political ploy to use the president's words to set up the downfall of the GOP in the Senate. Let me explain how. Nancy Pelosi should not be doing it how she's doing it. She should be calling immediately the bipartisan group that has in bicameral, which means both House and Congress, to work on the amendment as a team, 5, 6, 7 people, both parties, both Congresses, say, let's work on the three amendments the president asked for as a team. She didn't do that last night. She said, I'm going to do it my way and just shove it in and send it to the Senate, and then you can deal with it. That immediately is going to set up the Senate to say no, and then she's going to use that to turn against the Senate for the Georgia Senate races. This is starting to turn out into Nancy Pelosi using the president's words as a way to set up a win for the Georgia Senate races. Again, it's looking like, at least from perception, that the Democrats are trying to set this up as a way not to give you stimulus, but to set up a way to create the downfall of the GOP in the Senate and win the 2 Senate Georgia seats. If you are to perceive this in a pessimistic way. In a pessimistic way, it means that Nancy Pelosi doesn't intend to give you stimulus because she's doing it in a way to cause the downfall of the Republicans in the Senate. If you look at it in an optimistic way, then you would say, okay, well, Nancy's just starting to write the amendment, and that she'll certainly talk to Mitt Romney, the Republican in the Senate, who's been behind a lot of these changes. She'll talk to Toomey. She'll talk to everyone in the Senate. She'll talk to Mitch. And I know that Chuck Schumer said, hey, Mitch, how about this? Hey, Mitch, how about that? It was very gloating. It was very prodding. It was not very conciliatory. It was not very bicameral or bipartisan. I saw the tweets by Chuck last night. They weren't much of anything but a little prodding the bear. So if you look at it in a positive way, which I think is sort of hard to do, that Nancy's just starting to get the ball rolling, which is good. Someone has to get people moving, like get your buddy moving. Come on, let's move. But my concern is that the Senate is going to have a big problem with the price tag. This is why the news reports are saying what they say in this morning, that the president was urged not to make that message last night because the president does not have the support of the GOP in the Senate. The support of the GOP in the Senate has been a long message of this channel for 6 months. It's been a message of Nancy Pelosi. It's been a message of Mitch McConnell. No one understands this better than you and I and everyone involved. There's 20 senators in the GOP in the Senate who don't want to give you a penny. We know who they are. They include Ron Johnson, Lamar Alexander. They don't want to give you any money. And how do you win a vote with those 20 people saying no? You're going to assume there's going to be 20 people with a no. Can you get past those 20 people with a no? Well, as someone just tweeted, that the price tag of the total bill grows. It is going to grow. Let's go over the numbers. A $600 stimulus check cost, well, let's do it easier. We all know that a $1,200 stimulus check is $300 billion. We all know the math of this. A $1,200 stimulus check is $300 billion. We got that. So they had been at $600 billion, which is half. So they were half of $300 billion, which was $150 billion. Now they've gone from 600 to a proposed 2,000. Well, that's not triple. That's more than triple. So 3 times 150. What's 3 times 150? It's over 450. It's almost $500 billion. So they've gone from 150 before 2 days ago to now Trump wanting $500 billion for just a stimulus check. Is that a lot for the Republicans and the GOP and in the Senate to digest? Oh boy, it is. If you're just joining me at the 11-minute mark, let me give you an update where we are this morning. The update as we sit here this morning: no deal for the second stimulus check and the second stimulus package. There's now no less than 3 different stimulus packages which I'm covering on the channel, and I need to go over the terminology with you to start, so you understand what is what and what is where. What we're talking about with Trump, what we're talking about with the $600 stimulus check now going to $2,000, that's second stimulus check and second stimulus package. What we're talking about with Biden in January, the SSI and SSDI, the multiple stimulus checks retro, $600 a week back to July, that's third stimulus. What we're talking about for the remainder EIDL, the grant, the hazard pay, all the big items, the MSC, multiple stimulus checks, that's all third stimulus in January. Finally, the state stimulus, the rent, the food, and all that, that's state stimulus. So now what I'm focusing in this early part of this recording is the second stimulus, what happened last night. The new details we see this morning is that there was resistance to the president to even make that recording last night from his own staff. And today, what you're going to be seeing is a lot of bickering. There is no bill, there is no amendment, and there may not be an agreed upon amendment. Let me explain to you where we are and let me explain to you what has to be done and what's not being done. This is what has to be done. He asked last night for an amendment for 3 things. 1, removing the federal government, the foreign governments getting big bailouts. Kenya, Cambodia, and countries like that, removing the $8 billion for foreign governments. That was the first thing he asked. Second, he asked the stimulus check to go from 600 to 2,000. Third, he asked for the provision about where the spouse is not a U.S. citizen to be removed. Fourth, he asked for the Kennedy Center renovations to be removed. So he really almost asked about 4 different things. Last night, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Chuck Schumer, and another representative in the House said, I had the amendment. The amendment only had the stimulus check change. It didn't have the other 3 things which I detailed to you. It didn't have the big foreign government money. That's a biggie. And if you watch the recording from last night, it was about 8 minutes long. 6 minutes of it was about the foreign governments. It's a big, big thing. In fact, Twitter, social media, America is not going to forget it. Why? Because it was trending online the day before yesterday's recording. It was trending 2 days earlier. Kenya and countries like that were trending, saying, who are these people in Congress that gave $8 billion or attempted to give $8 billion to foreign governments and not give us a decent stimulus check? Those people have still not taken that language out. So I was very confused. I was very, how would you say it? almost trolling. I felt like I was a troll, saying to AOC, "Hey, AOC said I did the change. Here you go. I'm done." Wait a second, AOC. Trump asked for four things. You just did one. Did you take out the foreign governments? No, she didn't. Then Chuck Schumer said the same thing, and Nancy Pelosi and another representative of the House. So what are you going to see? You may see the following. You may see the House pass an amendment for $2,000 stimulus check and say, we're done. And then suddenly you and me and everyone else is going to say, okay, did you take out the foreign governments? Oh, well, it has to be in there. We're not taking that out. I don't know. There's going to be some excuse about the foreign governments that they haven't taken the foreign governments out. Then they're going to send it to the Senate. And then the Senate may say, oh, well, what is this? Here is my opinion of the situation. My opinion of the situation is it has to be bicameral and bipartisan. Bicameral means the House and the Senate. It means 10 people need to work on this. Everyone from Mitch to Mitt Romney to Toomey. It can't be Nancy Pelosi editing a line or AOC editing a line and say, it's done. That's sort of silly. I mean, it's really, it almost is infantile. No disrespect to AOC, who I really like. I think she does an excellent job. But it showed its sort of trivial, petty, and tone deaf when AOC said, I'm done. I'm like, did you not hear the 8-minute recording, AOC? He asked for four things. Now, if you don't want to take out the other things, just say, I don't want to take out the federal government stuff. I want to really give $8 billion to federal governments. Just admit it and own it. But this lack of ownership is enough already. I really have a problem. You know, and I know. I hate when political leaders ignore a subject and act and then don't talk about it like it's gone away. The $8 billion is still in there for the federal government. So why did you not take it out, AOC? Did you not hear the recording? Did you not take it out because you don't want to take it out? I got it. If you don't want to take it out, just own it. But don't be a wimp and say it's done, because it's not done. Take the money out, or say why you're not taking the money out. So when it goes to the Senate, whatever AOC or Nancy is going to write, it's not going to pass. It won't pass. And in fact, Trump may do another video say, okay, you did not do what I asked for. And so there's a lot of stuff that could happen here. First, the Senate may say you did not take out the federal government. That's the easiest way. If I was Ron Johnson and didn't want to give you a penny, I would just avoid my subject and say AOC didn't take out the federal government, so I'm not voting on this because she didn't take out the federal government. I mean, that's the easy way to avoid the stimulus check discussion. But the bottom line is they have not fixed it the way the president wants it fixed. And so what does that mean for you? It means a lot of strange twists and turns. There's literally about 20 to 30 permutations, 20 to 30 possibilities of what could happen over the next 3 days. You could see nothing. You could see a vote. You could see a vote on the wrong thing. You could see a vote on a not comprehensive enough thing. You could see a vote that the Senate doesn't want to vote on. You could see a vote that the Senate doesn't agree upon. You could see a lot of stuff. It appears that the House absolutely categorically will pass $2,000 for you. That's very clear. The question is, will the House take out the other stuff that shouldn't be in there? The bottom line is today is the 23rd of December. We know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow's the 24th. We know what the day after that is. Christmas Day. We know what the 26th is. There's a difference of saying I'm going to stay in town on the 21st and 22nd or the 20th. But now we're on the 23rd. Do you think they're going to stay in town tomorrow? Do you think they're going to work on your bill tomorrow? These are rich, older people who have been in Congress for 40-something years. Do you think they're going to stay in town to help you tomorrow? I don't know. What I want you to understand is that you need to perceive the situation as though there is no deal, that there is no money, that everything you are concerned about is still to be concerned about. Your PUA will expire. If there is no change between now and 3 or 4 days from now, your UI will expire, your PUA will expire. There will be no stimulus check. There will be no eviction moratorium. There will be nothing of nothing. And that ultimately there is a lot of political theories out there about how this could unfold. I'm really not. I could do those political theories till I'm blue in the face. I don't want to do them. I think you are smart enough to know all the political theories, why Trump may not want to do it, why Nancy may not want to do it. It has to do with this political vote and that vote. It has to do with this. I know that. I'm not really focused on so much the political maneuvering because it could go it could it, you could we could talk about it for 5 years. Rather, what I'm focused on is whether you're going to get the money. At the moment, I don't think you're going to get this money until they actually wake up and realize he asked for a bicameral, bipartisan amendment that has 4 items in there. The foreign government's taken out, the $2,000 stimulus check, the removal of the Kennedy Center, and the removal of the issue about the spouse. I've seen a lot of questions in the comments so far about other things. There was no other thing, other beyond those 4 things. Those are the only things that Trump talked about. So people keep on asking, can they do? Trump didn't ask for anything else, and the Congress is not trying to do anything else. So yeah, there's a lot of other things that should be fixed. I know them, you know them. There's a lot of stuff in this bill. I'm going to use this as a visual. This is not the whole bill, but there's a lot of stuff in the bill that needs to be fixed or is not in there. I got it, but that's not going to happen. So I want you to be fully informed, fully knowledgeable, fully focused that there is stuff in here that was not of the list of amendments from the president. Can you go on social media and urge Nancy, urge Chuck to add and change things? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what these people do is they change things and then they probably throw something back in. Yeah, I would have put past any person editing something to throw something back in that was taken out, throw in the Toomey language that was taken out, yeah, all that. So I see your comments about the adult dependents. I see your comments about the family of 5. I see the comments about other things, but those were not mentioned by the president and those were not mentioned by the Congress. Now, with that, let me answer your incredible questions for this morning's recording. Any questions you have so far? What has the USA come to? Says Aura. Yeah, it's a hot mess. Will we see a veto? He doesn't have to do a veto at the moment. Believe in Jesus Christ. You're awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Hazard pay, a third stimulus package. Why should Pelosi be involved in this anyway? That's a good point. Why is Trump not wanting to do the executive order? Because he's playing golf. Has Mitch said anything? I could not find anything from Mitch. I know all last night it was no comment. They could reach Mitch and there was no comment. Will the president do executive order? I don't think so. I don't think so. SBA money. You could still get SBA money. It's still there. That's what's really good. If we're talking about EIDL loans, it is still there. It has not gone away. They can repurpose. You know all this stuff. Everything that I talk about repurposing CARES Act, that money is still there. Is that a 3.5 volt light? Let's set. I don't know. There's a lot of lights on the set. This set has a lot of lights. That's why you sometimes see me going like this at the end of the day, because it's hard on my eyes. Why won't they consider repurposing the $800 billion? Oh, I did a special on that last Friday. It was a big hit story. It was an exclusive on Evenings LALATE, why they're not repurposing the CARES Act 1 money. And the reason I said in that world exclusive is because they want that money available for Biden's administration to do it for the purposes they want to use it for. So they don't want to use up money. Do you think the $2,000 will become a reality? It can't. Well, it can become a reality if these people take out the federal government, this federal money from the foreign countries. It can be a reality within 24 hours. It literally could be a reality by the end of today. The $2,000 could be a reality by the end of today if they do exactly what he said, which they should. I mean, the entire United States wants them to do it. No one wants to see the country of Kenya get $1.5 billion. So if they do exactly what he asked for, which is actually good stuff, he didn't say bad stuff. The Kennedy Center does not need a renovation, in December. Then, yeah, you could see the $2,000 by the end of today. and not in your pocket by the end of the day. You can see it as a law by the end of the day. That's why this is going to be changing by the minute. That's why LALATE is now a 24-hour news network. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do. Go to the front channel, subscribe. If you're in the live chat, there's a button there in the corner. Please hit the subscribe button. Also hit the alert button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. There's almost 4,000 people in the room, so we're really growing every single day on the number of people in the live chat. Please subscribe, because it is days like this that things are going. Is it $2,000 a bus? It is. It is $2,000 a bus. It's that way or nothing. Everything else has not changed. Let me answer the question about the kids, because I know that is confusing. The kids would stay at 600. The kids would stay at 600. You said Biden will stimulus. Can he get it done, or do they have to vote on it? Okay, so Biden third stimulus, which is a new show on this channel every day on afternoons LA. It actually has Biden's face in it. Third stimulus from Biden. Most of the stuff would be voted upon, with the exception of the eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and student loan debt repayment. Those would come by executive order. Your godsend. I appreciate that. Yeah, I see questions about adult dependence. Everything else is not changing. Everything else is not changing. It can change. You can argue to change it, but Trump did not ask for anything else to change. So if he doesn't sign it, then what? If he doesn't sign it, there is literally nothing. So if he doesn't sign it, your PUA will expire, your UI will expire, you will have no stimulus check, your eviction moratorium will expire. Okay. So I've gotten this question as also, is the federal government shut down? I really don't know the answer. I would presume it already is shut down, so I have no idea. I don't know when the federal government was extended. It's very confusing. My presumption is the federal government is shut down at this point, because it expired on Tuesday, and there was no other extension done. Does Trump want the federal government shut down before Biden? You decide. There's a lot of strange things going on. When will they vote? Don't know. Oh, well, actually, I do know. Nancy, I think, said this morning she's going to get this ready for a vote tomorrow. I don't know why it takes her tomorrow. She can get this done in 15 minutes today, but she's going to do it wrong. Today's the 23rd. Get it done today. I mean, what's the problem? Do you expect the second stimulus? If Nancy does exactly what Trump has asked for, which she should, because the things that Trump asked for were excellent. There is nothing he said in there was bad. You can absolutely despise Trump and watch that video and say everything he said is exactly correct. I don't think there's anything wrong in his video. Everything he said in the video was exactly correct. And in fact, all he's doing is repeating what social media said for 2 days. So it's as though he sat on Twitter and then sort of repeated what Twitter said. Take out federal governments, take out the Kennedy Center, and give a bigger stimulus check. He just repeated what Twitter's been saying for 2 days. So if Nancy does exactly what Trump asked for, we can get this done by the end of the day. We could have this $2,000 stimulus check a deal by the end of today. It only takes no less than a few hours to get this done, and we could all go home and, well, sort of go home and get this done by the end of today. It's Smithsonian too. Yeah, there was another bill in there. If she doesn't do what he says, then we're really, then we're sort of like playing games. It's like, Nancy, do exactly what he said. This is one of those situations where the teacher gives you instructions, like, you did not follow the homework instruction, go home and fix it, or I'm giving you an F on this assignment. And then you come back and you do half of what the teacher said. The teacher told you to do 4 things and you did 1. I'm giving you one last instruction, Nancy. Do exactly what the teacher told you. I don't think she likes being the student of this. But everything Trump said was 100% correct. And I got to tell you, I don't know who those crazy people were in the White House telling them to say no about this, not to record the video. The video was excellent, excellent. I mean, it was the best video I think this president has ever put out. I wish he had done this a long time ago. Any other questions? Does the Senate have to vote on it also? Yes, absolutely. So it's the same process. The bill has to be amended. Then it's voted on the House, then it goes to the Senate, and then it goes to the president. You have to have all 3 steps again. Can we have a hashtag for adult dependence? Um, I would just add, yeah, I mean, we could um, just add the hashtag adult dependent. The hashtag campaign for the next 24 hours is hashtag stimulus check 2000. Hashtag stimulus check 2000. That's the hashtag that we started last night. I know some people didn't catch it because I saw a lot of strange versions of it. It's hashtag stimulus check 20000. But yeah, we can also do a hashtag campaign. Yeah, someone just said on the screen. But we could also do a hashtag campaign, hashtag adult dependence. Also include Purple Power and LALATE as hashtags. And there you go. Any other questions? What happens with the veto override? Yeah, that's a great question from the IG room. Veto. So Nancy may talk about vetoing override today. Let me explain. It doesn't help her if she doesn't get a unanimous, if she doesn't get enough votes in the Senate. And again, that looks like a political ploy. Let me explain what that means. To override a Trump veto presumes that Trump's going to veto. He may not even veto. He may not even vote on. He may not even read the bill. Um, okay, so let's presume he vetoes it, which I don't think he's even going to veto it. I just don't think he's going to even touch it. Then you have to have enough votes in the House and the Senate. Nancy's saying I'm going to have enough votes in the House. Great, that's great, Nancy. How about the Senate? And you're presuming the president's going to veto it. And there you go. Thank you for joining me for early mornings for mornings LALATE. Thank you for joining me for early mornings LALATE, and thank you for joining me on overnight LALATE. The EIDL video debuted this morning at 1 o'clock a.m. There's an EIDL video to help you know how to get the EIDL grant, the remainder of your $10,000 grant, which will be a big issue in January. You can't get it now, but you'll get it in January. Watch that video, which is on this channel, the EIDL video, which went live at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time today. Then the PUA video, UI and FPUC, also really helpful. A throwback video went live at 2 a.m. this morning on the West Coast. Early mornings LALATE at 3 a.m. and 3:30 on the West Coast were very well watched. If you missed those explain what we're talking about today. No major changes since those recordings were made. And then join me on holidays LALATE at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Go to the Frontage channel, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And there's a button on the Frontage channel that says subscribe. Also, there's a bell. Hit that bell so you get an alert when a new video goes live. It's important you subscribe so you don't miss a video if I go live. I expect a lot of twists and turns throughout the day. As always, see you at 12 noon. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay up LA for more.